Bob and Branimir made a very nice segue into the next topic, which is empowering humanity and in artificial intelligence. We've heard in the introductory speech that AI has generated quite a lot of value, but also quite a lot of problems. It almost seems that AI is generating more problems than the value. So what we're here for is to essentially unveil what should we do in the future in order to avoid some of the pitfalls of the artificial intelligence and actually build valuable systems to empower humanity, tackle misinformation, for instance, and protect user data. And perhaps, Branimir, going to you, because you have plenty of experience in building decentralized systems that are here to help users capture value, meaning not just a centralized entity capturing value, but actual users in a decentralized way. And not only you've been building the core of the decentralized knowledge graph and OriginTrail, but also you have plenty of experiences implementing technologies in real world, which is quite rare in the crypto space. So my question to you would be, what are your thoughts with regards to enabling user privacy, and how would that be possible? And perhaps then you can pass the ball to the rest of the speakers who have perhaps a little bit different perspective than we. And then we also have fellow builder from Polkadot, which might mirror some of the thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, Žiga, and thanks everybody for coming. I hope I don't become a little bit boring speaking in sequence here. But yeah, it's as we touched upon previously. So really, data is everybody's out after your data in a way because it's super valuable. The knowledge really is the asset class of the 21st century. And having that said, I think there's a big lure towards infringing privacy. And just yesterday or the day before, you might have seen Claude come out with a new very exciting thing, which is kind of a computer control API. So basically, you can tell Claude, do something, find this image on the web, and it will go and take screenshots and basically take over control of your computer, which sounds very exciting, but it shows a trend. As Bob mentioned, there's like both positives and negatives to any innovation. The negative side is it's going even deeper into the privacy territory. And we've seen a lot of I think we'll see a lot of the things repeat from the social media era, where actually privacy was very much infringed upon. So it really comes down to us building technologies that enable user privacy. So enable users in various ways, also taking regulatory perspective into account, but especially empowering the builders and empowering users to be able to control the technology on their own. And there's various different approaches to it. Obviously, let's say if we look at the Web3 world, we subscribe to not your keys, not your coins, or not your keys, not your data. So this is kind of going very deep into the technical sovereignty, if you will, of individuals. But obviously, this world is not just comprised of Web3, and Web3 is yet still a very small part of the whole landscape. So actually curious to ask Bojan and Guenda to share their views and experience from the perspective of how you folks see safety and privacy from a perspective Microsoft and Google and the experience you guys had.
Thank you, Branimir. And first of all, hello and great to be here with this great audience today. So yeah, I'm basically at Google Cloud helping businesses to be successful with their cloud journeys, including usage of AI technologies, and build solutions for their basically customers and their business partners. And basically in that journey, all these questions that you just raised here are extremely relevant. Preserving user privacy, ensuring that we are actually responding, that solutions that are being made actually responding with responses that are truthful, that are grounded into truth. And basically, I will share a few of my very personal opinions why I think what I think are good practices to achieve these things. And I think we can definitely start from very high, and that would be like responsible AI principles that organizations typically have. For example, I'm coming from Google. You can see on the website they are listed publicly, and you can read them.
May I interrupt you there for a second?
Yeah.
So actually what's interesting for me is, the way I understand it, Google, because of these principles, was actually reluctant to build the first public LLM product, even though it was technically invented at Google.
Yeah, so I was not involved in the process, so I will not comment on that. But I think truth is that the Transformers paper was published in 2017. So yeah, this technology started being developed and basically matured, and now we have services that we have for both like consumers and enterprise to build their solutions. So I think responsible AI principles are really important one, and this are one of those is basically also incorporate user privacy in your design principles, basically. So these things I think are really important. But I will also share here basically how I see it when a business creates something for their end users. For example, using cloud technology. Basically, one thing are principles. Second is actually when you start building it and implementing it. And basically, there are a number of good practices that we want to follow, such as basically implementing a number of guardrails in your solution, because you will never expose just an LLM to your end customers. LLM is typically one piece of large solution, and then basically you define a number of rules basically that ensures that your solution that is LLM based does exactly what it does, that does not respond to the questions that is not supposed to, and then when it responds actually goes to the sources that you want to ask for the answers. And then we can also touch on the prompt engineering, typical workflows. So basically that these kind of things are general, and I would say independent from the technology that you want to choices. So basically you define your task you want to solve, then you write your prompts, then you test your prompts, you see the outcomes, and then you go in circles until you are really confirmed and happy with the outcomes, and basically later go to deploy. Another thing that's important for this topic is basically possibility to apply something that's called safety filters. And safety filters are basically components that are going before we call LLM and after we get a response from LLM. So on both input and outputs. So typically when designing solutions with that involves generative AI, you want to be able to filter out the prompts that are not appropriate even before you send any API call to the LLMs. And this we can think about different things like forbidden questions or just topic that is not relevant for what you are building your solution for. And on other side, on the output, you want to make sure that in the output there are no things like PII data or some other things that are important for the use case that you are making. So I think these are just some of the principles that I'm seeing in my 15 years career that is in different areas that I worked. It was mostly data and using AI, but these things are just some of the good practices that help to basically generate solutions that are more trustworthy and that are contributing to these goals.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I guess it would be great to hop the same question to Guenda. So okay. Take it away, Guenda.
Okay, so hi everybody, nice to be here. As Bojan was saying, we also have at Microsoft responsible AI principles. And I would add to what he already said, that for us there are very important two things. The first is that you create application infused with AI that are secure. So secure by design, so that your data and the usage that you do is always done in a very secure way, and that the human must be at the center. So the AI you're using must be fair, must be inclusive, doesn't have to discriminate anybody is using it, but needs to be something that empowers them much more than created problems. So this was something that we started many years ago in 2018, and was starting with the simple cases of machine learning, but of course extends also on the LLM's part.
Okay, thank you, Guenda. I'm gonna make a full circle and then go back to Filippo. Kind of moving a notch up to Web3. And we heard a lot of things about security, and security is also a leitmotif of Polkadot. And OriginTrail and Polkadot, by extension with OriginTrail, has been hands down the most used blockchain for real-world problems. We know that for a fact because we've been in trenches using the tech and also powering OriginTrail with its security features. So, Filippo, you are an educator within Polkadot ecosystem and also PhD in statistics. So, you know how crucially important the security is and what might go wrong if things are not stitched together properly at the trust layer. So, what is, in your opinion, the role of security, of blockchain security and interoperability when it comes to powering artificial intelligence? Why is it important from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you, Žiga. Yeah, I think I like the quote of Robert before, that connectivity creates problems, but it solves much more problems. Of course, like with time, because the guy has been working for quite some time. So, yeah, I really like, because of course, like blockchain solves already a lot of problems, like the ownership issues. You know, like you own your data, and the decentralization, which is kind of buzzword nowadays. But I think you can have blockchain, and blockchain gives all this ownership to you. But if the blockchain is not secure, is not designed in a proper way that grants scalability to the user or to the the builders on top of it, it's kind of useless, because yes, you have ownership, but it's not secure. So why should you use it, right? And I think for application like OriginTrail and Euroweb, that OriginTrail is doing so many partnerships. I also, in Switzerland, you're working with SBB or, like the national railways. I mean, these are like big industries that they need standards and enterprise level security standards. And I think like the fact that Polkadot provides this natively with its architecture, that by the way, I will explain on my talk later. But I think it's like something that is very useful to blockchain. You cannot expect to have, there are so many protocols nowadays, it's so difficult to navigate with. You cannot expect every single protocol to have to be super secure, right? It's just a scalability issue. Like you cannot expect every protocol to build to each other, a bridge, just because it's not possible, right? So I think the fact that Polkadot provides this interoperability and this security for application in AI that require security and also communication, as also Robert said. I think it was kind of visionary to think that this was already in the minds of the architects of Polkadot in 2016, and now it's fully functional.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. So we're bullish on security. Might not be that now, in this space within the crypto or the Web3 at large, security is seen as the most important element. But from our perspective, again, getting our hands dirty, without security, there is no implementations. There is no real world businesses adopting your solution, and they do scrutinize every solution that we put to market, working with serious companies. So there's a serious DD, and we can vouch, for any technology element that we use, including Polkadot, that is, a very useful one and a secure one. Yeah, perhaps we're going to make another round talking about what makes you feel most excited at this point with all the new things coming to the market within the artificial intelligence space. Is it the agents? Is it again the neurosymbolic AI? We have Gary Marcus talking later on his leading critique in the AI space, also pointing out that LLMs in itself, are not the most fruitful way to continue without its symbolic partner, which should be grounding AI in facts. Perhaps Branimir, and then you can also pass the ball forward.
Sure. I mean, lots of exciting opportunities here. I think what I'm particularly excited about is personally, when I see experts such as Gary or Jan LeCun, who is a famous AI researcher at Meta, also Turing Award winner, pointing out new architectures which include something some of them call a world model, some of them call it a cognitive model, but essentially a model of the world in real time as we see it today, paired up with LLMs and agentic frameworks. And essentially, why am I especially excited about it? Because essentially that's what we've been building at their OriginTrail for many years now. It's all about essentially converging real-world data on real-world assets, real-world events in one large decentralized knowledge graph that you can query in real time across many places. And just as Filippo mentioned, it's hard to connect multiple things. You cannot bring bridges across everything. It's not practical. It's practically impossible, I would say it.
Especially because you need to do it in a secure way.
Exactly.
And in blockchain, you can transfer information, but you also can transfer. I mean, of course, information has value, but you also transfer real economic value.
Exactly.
And there are many people that they burn themselves by doing this. I mean, bridges hack are the most the most frequent.
We can see a bridge as literally an analogous to, let's say, one-to-one API integration in the old school enterprise world. And actually, you mentioned SBB. I think they're a great example. They were one of the early companies in this enterprise space to understand that it's actually not possible to do this one-to-one. And there's a great talk from last year's conference by Dominic Halbeisen, who explains it, literally illustrates it, and says that you need one joint model, essentially, to converge on, which absolutely kind of a base level needs to be secure, but also needs to apply the right principles. So what it's going to look like in the end, whatever we call it, AGI or kind of the next layer of the internet, is definitely going to have to combine all those. And it's going to be a kind of a synergy of Web 2 and Web 3, as we call it today. And yeah, I'm personally most excited about what this world model is going to look like and who gets to build it first. And my hunch is we do. but yeah, it's a chase to build the first one. But the great thing is that it's finally getting validation in research papers. And no longer are people sort of claiming, if we just throw enough data into the LLMs, it's just about scale. That was like a thing until recently. It was just about scale, throw enough stuff in there, and ta-da, AGI. Well, no, it turns out it's not going to happen like that. And yeah, I think it's going to be quite a bit of a theme today at the conference. But I'm curious, what do you folks think about this? What are you excited about?
I love the question. And I know what makes me really excited in the Gen AI these days. I'm playing a lot with multimodal LLMs with large context windows, and this is like really amazing stuff. It's really changing things because earlier I was playing a bit with this, I would say, classical LLMs and text prompts, and this is basically you have certain things you can do in a lot of powerful things, but basically nowadays you can use like 1 hour video as a context for your prompt and like just start asking questions about it, or I don't know, like number of books to feed just in a context, and immediately start asking questions, or recording of audio file, or a bunch of images, like all the images from my summer holiday, and then like make a story. So it's super powerful, and actually possibilities that it unlocks are amazing. So, for example, if you're a developer, you can now put like almost your entire code base into context while trying to get some help from LLM in maybe debugging or writing some new code piece, which is quite amazing. or I will later in the presentation that will follow show example basically where you, if you're doing some work on your screen, you can basically record it and feed to LLM that can basically either document that or even help you to automate it. So some super powerful things.
It's going to be really awesome, as the next presentation is going to be about launching the DKG Edge node. Couple that with Google and with other products. It's going to be exciting to see how all of these augments each other. So I'm going to be pleased to hear more from you in your presentation and how other builders can come in and use it next to the DKG.
Guenda, you want to share what you're excited about in the next period?
Happy to. So I have a background in neuroscience, and I started working on AI with the idea that AI could simulate the human brain. So for me, the idea of reinforcement learning and everything that is around agents, it's something that actually really excites me to see how we're going to be able to create agents that think and how they're going to learn how to think and, I don't know, easily do tasks that we do every day or help us doing stuff. So I'm going to be very, very curious to see how this is going to be developed and explode, because I think that's going to be our future.